If you've ever looked at a creator you admire and thought, how did they become iconic? Today's for you. Not famous. Not trending for a week. Iconic, as in, their work sticks. People quote it, reference it, borrow from it, and it keeps getting discovered by new generations.
And the tricky part is that iconic sounds like something you either are or you aren't, like it's a lightning strike. But when you zoom in, a lot of it is choices. What you make, how you present it, how you repeat yourself without becoming boring, and how you build a real relationship with an audience.
So today we're going to break down what makes artists and authors memorable and how you can move your work from good to recognizable and from recognizable to unforgettable.
Let's start with a reframe. Iconic isn't a personality type. It's a pattern. It's when your work becomes distinct enough that people can spot it and consistent enough that they trust it.
Exactly. When someone says, that feels like a, and they say your name. That's the goal. So the first lever is identity. Not branding as in a logo. Identity as in, what do you stand for on the page or the canvas?
And I want to make this practical. Here's a simple question. If your work disappeared tomorrow, what would be missing from the world? Not what you hope would be missing. What is actually unique about your angle?
That question can sting, but it's useful. Because most creators start out doing a blend of their influences. That's normal. But iconic begins when you intentionally choose your through line. Your recurring obsession. Your signature tension.
For authors, that might be the kind of characters you return to, the moral questions you won't let go of, the emotional flavor you deliver every time. For visual artists, it might be a palette, a subject, a texture, a compositional rhythm, or even a refusal to do what's expected.
And that takes us to the second lever, repetition with evolution. Iconic creators repeat themselves. They just do it cleverly.
Yes, people think repeating yourself means you're stuck. But repeating yourself is how an audience learns you. The evolution part is how you stay alive.
So think of it like a musician. Your sound is stable, but every album explores a new corner of it. As an author, maybe your new book still delivers that sharp, intimate voice, but the setting shifts. Or the structure experiments. As an artist, maybe the subject remains, but the materials change.
A good exercise. Write down 3 things you want people to feel when they encounter your work. Not think, feel, then ask, does your last 5 pieces reliably create those feelings? If not, that's not failure, that's a map.
Let's talk about the third lever, which is where a lot of talented people quietly get stuck, volume and visibility. Iconic work doesn't only come from genius. It comes from output.
Iconic creators ship. They finish. And that's boring advice until you notice how rare it is. A lot of people work endlessly but avoid finishing, because finishing means being judged.
Right. And shipping doesn't mean flooding the internet with anything. It means creating a steady cadence where you prove, mostly to yourself, that you can complete a cycle, idea, draft, revise, publish, promote, repeat.
Here's a practical framework. 1 big pillar work and multiple small signals. A pillar work could be a book, an exhibition-ready series, a long essay collection, a cohesive portfolio drop. Small signals are consistent touch points. Sketches, snippets, short poems, studio notes, process photos, research threads.
And the small signals are not lesser. They're the bridge. They help people connect to you before they're ready to commit to the big thing.
Which leads to the 4th lever, narrative. Not the story inside your novel. Not the story inside your painting. The story around you, why you make what you make.
This is where some creators get uncomfortable. They say, I don't want to make it about me. But narrative doesn't have to be personal oversharing. It can be creative clarity.
It can sound like, I'm exploring loneliness in crowded places. Or, I write about inheritance, what families pass down that nobody names. Or, I'm obsessed with ordinary objects and how they become sacred through memory. That's narrative.
And narrative helps people remember you. Humans remember stories more than features. So if your work is the song, narrative is the hook that helps a listener hum it later.
Now, 5th lever, taste and editing. Iconic creators aren't just prolific, they're selective. They choose what represents them.
This one matters because the internet encourages archives. Everything stays. And that's not always your friend. You don't have to delete your past, but you do have to curate your front door.
Front door is the key phrase. Your homepage, your pinned post, your portfolio first grid, your book's back cover description, your author bio. Those are your front door. If someone only sees that, do they understand what world they're entering?
And editing isn't only removing pieces. It's also refining what you keep. Your voice becomes iconic through revision. Your palette becomes iconic through restraint. Your style becomes iconic through decisions.
Okay, let's address something that haunts creators. But there are already people doing what I do.
There. And that's not a disqualifier. Iconic doesn't mean first. It means definitive. Or at least distinctly you.
Also, audiences aren't picking one creator like a winner. People collect creators. They build a shelf, a playlist, a mental museum. Your job is to give them a reason to keep you in it.
Which brings us to the sixth lever, community and collaboration. Iconic creators rarely build alone.
The myth is the lone genius. The reality is a network. Editors, mentors, fellow artists, early readers, gallery owners, bookstore staff, librarians, critics, patrons, friends who introduce your work to the right person at the right time.
And community isn't just networking. It's contribution. Commenting thoughtfully. Sharing resources. Showing up at readings. Joining critique groups. Interviewing other creators. Making the ecosystem stronger.
Here's a small but powerful move. Build a circle of 5. 5 people whose work you respect, who are consistent, and who will tell you the truth. Not 5 people who always hype you up, and not 5 people who secretly want you to fail.
Now the seventh lever. Business fundamentals. We have to say it. Iconic work often lasts because the creator didn't burn out financially.
So for authors that might be understanding the basics of publishing paths, royalties, advances, marketing responsibilities, email lists, and long-term backlist strategy. For artists that might be pricing, editioning, commissions, licensing, grants, residencies, and knowing how to talk about your work.
And let's make it less intimidating. You don't have to become a spreadsheet wizard. You just need a simple system that keeps you making. What income streams support your practice? What costs are predictable? What's one thing you can standardize so you're not reinventing the wheel every month?
Now, the 8th lever is the hardest one to hear because there's no shortcut. Time. Iconic status is usually the result of staying in the game.
And staying in the game means surviving the middle. The middle is where you're not new and exciting anymore, but you're not established yet. The praise is quieter. The growth feels slow. This is where a lot of people stop.
So, we need a strategy for the middle. I call it the unsexy plan. You pick a sustainable schedule. You keep your promises to yourself. And you measure progress by completion, not applause.
And you build rituals that protect your work. Like a daily writing floor, not a daily writing dream. I write 200 words minimum. Or I sketch 20 minutes. Floors beat fantasies.
Can we do a quick diagnostic? If someone listening wants to become iconic, what should they do this week? Not someday?
Yes. 3 moves. First, define your signature. In one sentence, fill in, I make work that explores, don't perfect it. Just commit to a draft. Second, choose a cadence. Decide what you will ship in the next 7 days. A chapter revision. 2 poems. 3 finished sketches. 1 polished short story. 1 miniseries of 5 images. Make it real and finishable. Third, fix your front door. Pick one place people land, your portfolio page, your bio link, your pinned post, and make it match what you want to be known for. Less clutter, more clarity.
I'll add one more. Practice the sentence that introduces your work. When someone asks, what do you do? Don't default to shrug. Give them something they can repeat. That's how your name travels when you're not in the room.
And to wrap it up, let's define iconic in a grounded way. Iconic is when your work carries a clear fingerprint, shows up consistently, and earns trust over time. It's not a vibe. It's a body of work plus a reputation.
So if you're listening and you feel behind, remember, most overnight successes are a decade of quiet finishing. Keep making, keep editing, keep sharing, and keep your work honest enough that it costs you something to create it.
Because the work that changes people usually changed the creator first. That's the kind of work that lasts. And that's the path to becoming iconic.